Hey, this is Mike. Thank you so much for choosing this video. Today I'm in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, visiting Sparks Toyota, and I'm checking out a 2019 Toyota 86 TRD SE. This 86 is sitting on 215/40 Michelin tires, wrapped around an 18-inch alloy wheel with a gloss black. It also has four-wheel ventilated disc brakes with Brembo brake calipers. So it looks like a 4-piston Brembo caliper here in the front and a 2-piston caliper here in the back. Now the tires that comes on this vehicle, they are summer tires, so you will need to change these in the winter time, and they are very sticky and grabby. According to the window sticker, this color is called Raven, which makes sense. Looks like just a regular black, which is nice. So here in the front, check out the splitter. Has the TRD name there in the center portion and sticks out quite a ways from the vehicle. Pretty much all gloss black, body colored, except for the little grille here and the surrounds around the fog lights. The bezels in the headlight housing is gloss black as well. And then you have the 86 badging here on the side of the chrome. Projector tube, powered by LEDs. Everything in here in the front is powered by LEDs. The turn signals, daytime running lights, headlights, and fog lights. Now the headlights are in a projector tube for your low and your high beam, and the fog lights are in a reflector housing here. So looking at the profile, this is where I really appreciate the wheels. The gloss black kind of blends in at this point. Now you're just seeing the alloy popping through the wheel, and it has that 5-star look. Looks great, and I really like the way they look on this vehicle. So you also have that TRD, the TRD colors there. The decals there on the side, looking pretty neat, and it kind of separates this vehicle from, I guess, a regular 86. Most everything is body colored, gloss black. I'm really liking these fender bulges here in the hood. And actually looking at those with the front end, the splitter, kind of reminds me of Speed Racer, that old show back in the day when I was a kid. This is what the key looks like. It's a proximity key system designed to where you can use the vehicle 100% without taking it out of your pocket. It has your lock and unlock buttons there, and the ability to unlock the trunk, and a panic button. So there's your horn. It also has a physical key on the inside in case you need it. So the sun came out for a second here. So you can see the paint does have a little bit of metal flake in it, the Raven color. Hopefully the camera can pick that up now that the sun's out. Okay, so taking a look on the inside of the passenger side door here, mostly black. It does have the red stitching and accents there, as well as a metallic accent around the handle and a chrome door release. Okay, so this upper portion is kind of like a synthetic suede. That's soft touch around your arm. This is more like a synthetic leather, like a vinyl type material. And then you have more of that vinyl type material around the speaker, and it's kind of like a knee, little place to put your knee. And then there's some gloss black in here, kind of similar to like just a hint of a carbon fiber type look to it. You have a storage pocket right in there. Has a sill plate. Now this portion is kind of like a perforated rubber portion right in here. And then you have the hard touch plastic on the outside. Not sure why that's the case, but that's the way it is. So the seats are like a microfiber type cloth with the red stitching. And it does have a French stitching here with the red on both sides, but one side is kind of obscured because it's in the red. Really high bolsters here on the side and here on the back as well. Kind of looks like a Recaro type seat. You have TRD embroidered here into the simulated. This is like a suede Alcantara type material. The floor mats are kind of a Berber carpet type, and they do hook in place. Let's take a look in the glove compartment. It's all smooth plastic. And right here is another portion where you'll see that vinyl type material there. I guess so your knees bump up against it, has something soft. So it does have back seats, and they're scooped out quite a ways, so it's kind of interesting. Now you can see if the seat's all the way back here in the front, you have zero legroom. So these are somewhat functional back seats. You can put a car seat back here, or you can compromise on the front seats and have somebody back here. And it does have the latch system for the car seats. That center portion is like a vinyl type material, soft. Has a locking fuel door that releases next to the driver's seat. And the fuel door is here on the passenger side. It has a traditional cap, tether, and a little place to hang the cap on the inside of the door here. So taking a look at the back of the vehicle, it has a body colored shark fin antenna here at the top. Rear brake light, the third brake light is right there at the base of the glass. You also have this deck lid spoiler that continues out here on the sides of the trunk, and it's body colored, so it kind of blends in. The backup camera is way offset. It's way over here. But it does have a backup camera, and the view appears on the rearview mirror, not the screen. I'll show you that when we get inside. So it has a TRD rear bumper cover, and check out these exhaust tips, looking pretty nice. Really stand out. LED taillights as well. Okay, so let's go ahead and open this up. There's a little button under here which releases it. It's in the very center. You also have a physical key location back here, as well as on the driver's side door. Okay, so here's the trunk. And I would say it's pretty good size. For the size of the vehicle, I'd say it looks pretty good. And of course, I'll put all the dimensions and specs and all that stuff in the description in case you want to check all that out. You can also fold these seats down. Well, it's one big seat. So you can fold this seat down and have a larger cargo space. Now this makes sense because, you know, the chances of you using the back seats are lower than using this cargo space, extra cargo space. This lifts up, and check it out. It actually has a spare tire and tools back here. Uh-oh, busted. It actually says Subaru under here. I should have put a sticker or something over that, because this is actually most of this vehicle is made by Subaru, but they kind of joined forces with Toyota to make it. But you can see it clearly says Subaru there. It also says that on the engine when we get under the hood. I'll show you that in a minute. Okay, so let's go ahead and start it up. I had the key inside my pocket, so it's inside the vehicle. Put my foot on the brake, the other on the clutch. This is a manual transmission, and push this button. Okay, so here's the floorboard in front of the driver's seat. You can see it hooks in place. You have the raised rubber grips for your pedals there, the alloy pedals. You even have a matching footrest here on the left side. Looking pretty nice. So let's go ahead and take a look under the hood. To raise the hood, there's a latch a little bit to the right of center, right in here. Reach in, move it to the left. You can see it's right there. and lift the hood up. Now, the hood's really light. It does require a prop to hold it up. It's right here, and you swing it up, and it goes right there where that little arrow is pointing to. Okay, so there's a little bit of insulation on the underside of basically half the hood. It also has a little Subaru sticker under here. But anyways, now you notice, okay, looking at this engine compartment, you notice how low that engine is in this vehicle. It has a very low center of gravity because of this. It's a boxer engine, so it's basically or horizontally opposed engine, where you have two cylinders facing away from each other. There's two facing that way, and the other two are facing this way, completely away from each other. So you have two cylinder heads separated, which allows for a lower center of gravity. It also separates the heat from each cylinder head, so it's easier to, you know, maintain the temperatures with cooling it. Also, you can see that red portion, this right here, is your intake. And it's like it's an aluminum intake. The engine, everything is aluminum basically under the hood, but it's painted with some kind of texturized red, so it looks pretty neat. But that's your intake, and it goes on the top of each cylinder head. And at the bottom is, directly at the bottom is your exhaust. So both your exhaust pipes go out the bottom, so all the heat is dispersed under the vehicle. So that's pretty neat. And check it out, your oil filter, which also says Subaru on it, is right here, so it's easy to get to. Now you notice the strut towers have a brace. So there's your strut tower. There's a brace that goes in to the structure of the vehicle right there, and then you have another one extending out. Your battery is easy to get to, it's under the hood. So this engine has 2 liters of displacement, and it pumps out 205 horsepower, and is paired to a 6-speed manual transmission. Now, one thing about this vehicle, typically 4-cylinder small cars like this are front-wheel drive. This is a rear-wheel drive. So this is actually the front of the engine, and then there's the transmissions back there, and it extends back to the rear wheels, which is really nice. Now the rear differential is a limited slip type to give you better traction. The front struts here in the front are McPherson's, and you also have Sachs dampers. As long as you have your key within a close proximity of the outside of the door, you can lock it by putting your finger over the sensor right here on the door. You can unlock it simply by putting your hand behind the handle. It'll sense your hand position and unlock the vehicle. And then there's your physical key location on the driver's side only. The inside of the driver's side door is just like the other side, except for it has a few more buttons. Now both power windows are automatic. One touch down, one touch up. There's your door lock controls and your side mirror adjustments, all powered. Now it's manually adjusted seats, but here on the driver's side, you have the normal adjustments for a manual seat. You also have a height adjustment as well. To the left of the steering column, there's a trunk release. You also have your dimmer switch for your interior gauges, and it has a tilt and telescoping steering column, which you secure right here. Okay, so I'm sitting in the driver's seat checking it out, and the seat is really hugging, but it's not too intrusive. It has some really strong bolsters here. It's a little bit awkward getting in and out, especially after having a rigorous leg day yesterday. So but yeah, it's comfortable once you get in it. For somebody my size, I would typically have a little bit taller vehicle or bigger vehicle, but that's just me. I'm 6 feet tall. There's my leg room, but it's actually surprisingly the knee room and all that's looking pretty good. I would have the seat probably all the way back, maybe one notch forward, in order to operate the clutch properly. But overall, I'm surprised with the comfort for a vehicle this size. For me, anyway. My preference is a little bit bigger, but still tempting vehicle to buy. Okay, so leather wrap steering wheel. You have the red portions in the top and the bottom. Cruise controls right here. You turn it on, set, resume, and cancel. So it's basically push it on, set, resume, and cancel, like so. Over here you have your volume for your radio, change through your audio tracks or your radio stations, and then mode is your audio source. On the right side, these buttons correspond with a little screen next to your gauges, which we'll get to in a minute. Windshield wiper controls are here. Turn signals are here. It also has your headlight controls on it as well. And there's your automatic parking and headlights. You can also turn off everything there. And then your fog lights are controlled here. You have some buttons for to change to kilometers per hour. And then you can reset your trip here. But checking out the gauges, right now a little bit of significant glare on that screen with the camera, but when I look at it, there's no glare. So sometimes cameras make the glare worse. But anyways, here's the gauge cluster, and check it out. You have the RPMs there in the middle. Speedometer's over here, and check it out. It goes up to 160. That's amazing. And I like the background, the lighter colored background, so that way you can tell the difference and stay focused on your RPM, especially if you want to get to your shift points, your proper shift points and everything. And look at the red line. It doesn't red line until 7,500 RPMs. Okay, so actually the glare might help right now, because you see this square and it extends out over here but also overlaps into this area. So this is where you'll find your fuel gauge, also a digital speedometer within this circle. But out here, this is the stuff that's customizable, or you can get more information here. So using these buttons here that we saw, we're going to kind of cycle through this. So right now it's actually a G-force meter. So you see that red dot? So as you accelerate, it's going to move back, and as you brake, it's going to go forward and cornering. So you're going to get your G-forces as you're driving. So it's going to kind of look like this right here. But also, you have your brake. See, this says brake. So as I push the brake, it gives the pressure, how much pressure I'm going on the brake. There's the accelerator. So as I push the accelerator, it's going to show how much percentage I got. Also, right and left, that's turning the steering wheel. So as I turn the steering wheel, you see that bar extends out on the right side, and then when I go left, well, it extends on that side as well. It also shows the outside temperature and the odometer. But as I use these buttons, let's go ahead and scroll down. We saw the other one here, so it has some readings for your G-force meter, which you can reset. Scroll down again. So this kind of like gives a estimated what appears to be a torque curve. So one of those is your, you can see it goes up and down these torque. So one of those is your torque, the other one's your horsepower. And I would have to look it up, but one of them peaks out. Torque and horsepower peak out differently. So typically that might be your torque there on the left side, on the blue, and then the red might be your horsepower. I'm not really sure, but it can give you an idea. I mean, it's not in real time, it's not real. It's just kind of following a path to get an idea of where your torque and horsepower peak out. So scrolling down again, this is where you can have a lap timer or stopwatch. Then it goes back to your original screen. So you can see it kind of cycles through on this particular icon. So you notice these little different icons here at the top when I do that. When I scroll to the right, you'll see this is just part of a menu system. Scrolling to the far left gives me different gauge options. So we have engine coolant temperature, oil pressure, battery voltage. Scroll down, and then we have your fuel economy information, distance to empty. Then you have a timer and all that stuff. So there's the different options there on the first one. This is the second one. Third is your settings options, and then fourth would be messages. So that kind of gives you an idea of what you can have on this little screen right here. Additional information when you need it, or if you want it there. Alright, so once again we have a little bit of a glare going on. I'm not sure what's causing that glare, but of course it's not, I mean, looking at it with my eyes is not so bad. Okay, so you have a touch screen here, and you have AM, FM, Bluetooth audio, USB auxiliary, different inputs here to play music through the sound system. Has a physical volume knob. And so let's go ahead and go to the FM radio, see what it looks like. And then you have your presets here on the left side, and then what you're playing here, and going to your sound and adjust that. Let's go back out of that. You can go into your settings here, general, voice, all the different settings. Let's go to vehicle. So I guess this is a radio apparently that's just used in lots of different vehicles that you can choose what you want. It does have a basic voice recognition system here, so you push that.
How may I help you?
Cancel. So
Cancel.
it just has some basic controls here for the radio that you can use your voice to go to a particular thing, so you don't fiddle around with the radio while you're driving. Okay, so down here is a digital clock that's separate from the radio, which is nice. It's easy to set, and your eyes know right where to look when you look for your clocks. You don't have to look through the glare over here to see it. Four-way flashes are here. Then you have a dual zone climate control for the driver and passenger, and you can sync them. Right now they're synced, the different temperatures, and you can unsync them by just turning this knob here, and then that way it'll undo it. So you have dual, you can change it. That's basically what that means. So you have your temperature, fan speed, temperature for the passenger, front defroster, and then where you want the air to blow, you just push that. It does have an automatic mode, and then you can turn it off, recirculate the air conditioning, and rear defroster there. We already saw the start button, but down here is your auxiliary and USB ports, and a little storage space right here with a rubber portion at the bottom that you can take out and clean, put it back in. It's basically very small, just for something really small, maybe the key or a little bit of change. You can't put a cell phone or anything like that in it. Okay, so here's your shifter. It's a manual transmission. So you can see the shift pattern here is reverse here all the way to the left and up. You pull this up, pull it over. Of course, my foot's on the clutch, and push it up. So now we're in reverse. And the backup camera pops up here on the rearview mirror. So that's where it's located. It has static guidelines. And as you move out of reverse, it stays on for another minute or so, just so you can see what's back there, and then it goes away. And it completely disappears. It's pretty neat. Alright, so you can see the shift pattern there. Now I noticed that the stick is not really in the center, it's more in the forward position. But it has plenty of travel. Kind of puts it in the middle when you're in these gears here. Alright, so down here it has a traction control off in case you need to spin tires. You can turn it off. Now you also have a track mode, so this will turn off your stability and your traction control, so that way you can definitely, you know, do donuts or whatever you want there. Little storage area here. You also have a handbrake, parking brake. So you have a storage compartment in here with a 12 volt power supply there, and some cup holders and a little storage tray. This is removable, then you can have a larger area. This kind of snaps in here or back here. Has an auto dim rear view mirror, and there's a light sensor on the back here, which will kick it in night mode, I guess you can say, and will dim it, auto dim it. Up here you have some interior lights. You can have them off, on, or have them turn on with the door here in the center portion. The visors have mirrors in them. It's kind of like a vinyl type material over the regular the visor here. There's a little place to put some stuff there as well. And they do not extend out. Okay, so let's look at the visibility. Alright. So you have some blind spots here on the sides, but there is some little windows back there to help out. But since it's a small vehicle, it has, just looking with my eyes over my shoulders and looking around in the rearview mirrors and stuff, It looks fine. It looks better than my car, really. Which is not saying a whole lot. Okay. So there you have it, 2019 Toyota 86. So this has been the TRD, so it's a little bit of upgrades and coolness. I don't think it's a limited, like a numbered car, but I don't think they make that many of these. But anyways, thank you for watching. Thank you to Sparks Toyota here in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. They're awesome dealership. They allowed me access to this vehicle so I could show it off to you guys, and I'll see you guys next time.